Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wisdom Exchange number 10. We are now in double digits. Super cool. Today, we're going to do a deep dive and we're going to put our wee coaching hat on and we're going to break the golden rule, which is don't coach someone which is not in the room. But in terms of this exercise, we're going to look at how to gain an emotional perspective in any situation using the tool called Spacer, a coaching tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick an avatar, pick a person. And because we're interested in the South Asian diaspora, like watched Legend of Mr. Singh on my YouTube channel, Punjabi Lore, we're going to see how that affects the modern day generation in the West and typical problems they could face related to their career and apply this model onto our avatar who's living in the West and has a issue with their career and how this would work in a coaching session. So super interesting. If you're interested, if you're even stuck in a career situation right now, want to know how to leverage your personality, or just want to know how to gain a meta perspective from your emotions and from your current context, whether it be cultural or career or relationship orientated. So this will be a super interesting dive. So without further ado, let me share my screen. Hope you can see that, everybody. Got my PowerPoint open. So this is the spacer diagram, and so we have an avatar here. So now we're going to try to detach from the situation as much as possible, forget about our own biases, and be present here for the client. And so our client here is a male South Asian, 25 years of age from London. And he's done some, online personality tests and he comes out with ESFJ. and um, and we know that he's based in London, and from ESFJ we know that he's a FESI dominant, meaning his top two functions are extroverted feeling, which is he picks up upon the harmony of the group. He prioritizes that extroverted feeling of the group, of the tribe, of the people, and SI, the introverted sensing. And what we know from the personality when these two are in a dominant position is that these people really do well in social situations. They are good as teachers. They pick very highly in terms of body language. They're very good at picking up on that. And yeah, maybe in teaching or public health field, maybe even HR field. However, this 25-year-old male, has come to coaching or is interested to leverage himself because he's finding himself in a situation with a lot of things happening. So let's ask him, or let's see what situation he's in. So, he's graduated from university. He's done some sort of computer science from uni. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. Hopefully you can still see, just to give us a bit more space. Um, and he's maybe been in one or two jobs. Maybe let's just say this is his first job, and he's done already a couple of years, but he has to commute um, every day on the underground, London Underground, and he spends about 2 hours there and back again, right? And as we know from the circadian rhythm biology and everything, he's not really getting time to move. He's not really getting time to be in the sunlight. So he is basically a bit deficient, let's say. He's in that he's physically um, not active. But why he's come to coaching is really because he's feeling soul sucked. Um, and he's waking up in the morning Specifically, he's waking up in the morning and he's just feeling like he doesn't have a will to meaning, right? So he feels like he's waking up. He just doesn't want to feel up. He feels like lack of purpose, and he's just not feeling it. He feels stuck. He feels lost. He feels a bit overwhelmed. But really, the situation is in the morning, he's just not feel like getting up. And he's using coffee as a stimulant um, to wake up, right? So we've got this guy, he studied computer science in uni. He's commuting daily underground by the London Tube. He's just not active, feeling a bit soul sucked. He's waking up in the morning. He feels like he has no purpose waking up, right? And he's just using coffee in the morning as a stimulant, and it's just not good. And he feels like he's not living life. And he's stuck in this city, and all these, and that's where he's coming. Doesn't know like where to start, right? And so we just tell him, okay, thank you for explaining a situation. Could you just explain it a bit more, right? When are you setting that alarm? When are you how are you having breakfast, etc. So let's say he sets his alarm. He starts at 9. He sets his alarm at 5 a.m. He doesn't get up at 6:45 because he's pressing 5:45 because he's pressing snooze. He doesn't get to exercise, and he's having a quick sugary breakfast and rushes out, right? So we're just getting a bit of context here. The emotions he's having is he's having a lot of resentment. He's feeling a bit of suffering in the form of like lack of motivation, a bit of anger towards the situation. He's feeling sadness, and you know he's in that morning. He's waking up. He's just feeling a bit down, resentment, anger, sadness. So we see there's a lot of complex emotions really happening. Um, Kind of feels remorse as well. Let's say lost, and the thoughts that come up is really like, first of all, he feels angry at himself for not doing better. And now it comes to cultural context. Angry at family to pushing him to either do software engineer or any type of engineering or medicine, let's say, because of his grades. And he's got further thoughts we ask him to unpack. Like he went through uni, he did a lot of people pleasing, trying to study hard, even though he didn't notice he wasn't enjoying it. He was enjoying getting the good grades, linked to self-esteem. And the last 2 years, he thought he was doing a good job, um, you know, with his performance, because that was also lacked to self-esteem. But now he's realized that the work itself doesn't get his meaning, and he just can't wake up every day. So he's angry at himself, he's angry at his family and his culture, and we ask to explore the emotional context. How is this showing up in his life at work? And so he can't really, do his work. So that's building up. So he's also getting critical towards himself at work, and so that's just getting critical at home, right? Well, and critical to himself. So if you notice from the parent adult child relationship on transactional analysis that I talked about in the previous wisdom exchanges, I think maybe wisdom exchange 2, you'll know that there's transactions between people. So the parent and the child are in terms of a relationship or internal, the parent of yourself interacting to the child. And so we ask him here, how that is working. And so when he's critical to himself, we find out he's actually suppressing his child. And now we move on to the physical reactions. In the morning, he actually feels like his stomach is clenching and jaw as well. He's noticed now more emotions coming up, anxiety, and now butterflies, and his heart has dropped. And so he's not feeling so good. And now more thoughts are coming up in terms of when he's coming home. Maybe he's living in that. Maybe he's a first generation to grow up in the UK, but maybe his family and maybe he's living with his grandparents as well, and they're actually waiting for him at home, and they're constantly saying, "When are you coming home?" And maybe there's a bit of cultural connotations there, like um, in terms of when are you getting married? Now you've got a job, you've got a salary. When are you getting married? So there's a cultural um, pressure of marriage and good salary from older generation and pressure to be back home. And it's repeating. So this day is repeating Monday to Friday, and he's waking up. He's using coffee as a stimulant, and maybe he's not getting back late, and he's getting the same critical. So he's getting a critical outlook in terms of the home life, in terms of when you're going to be back home. You should be getting married now. You're 25, and also at work, he can't really keep up with his work. He's not enjoying it. And so all of that is now building up into physical sensations of stomach clenching, jaw, butterflies, his heart dropped, anxiety, and now he's also getting some back pain, let's say, from sitting a lot, and stress is resulting in migraines, um, and back pain sitting down as well. So we can start to see this physical reaction building up, right? And he's basically his action. Oh, I don't know why he's not acting here, but his action is, or inaction, he's basically trying to work harder. He's becoming avoidant at work because maybe the FE is playing in, extroverted feeling, in terms of trying to just make people happy. So suppressing his anger or pain and avoiding at home. And he's maybe briefly having episodes like shout outburst and inaction, in that he is being avoidant, and he's like not taking responsibility, uh, stepping into adult. So it becomes clear as a coach, he's also in the child setting and in the parent setting critical, but he's not detaching so much. So as we're talking through this conversation with this 25-year-old from London, well, and I'm asking him what's the external result he's finding, is that he's finding that the work and family situation is causing um, is basically causing him to have um, a bit of lack of self-esteem. Ultimately, it's a lack of will to live and be motivated, right? And so actually pushes him to self-improvement videos. And that's maybe how he find coaching slash um, videos on therapy, right? Because maybe he was pushed to that aspect, and he's finding motivational stuff online. So we can start to see that this could be a common thing among all young people, but especially with some marriage stuff added in, some more critical things to do with his education background and coming home on time mixed with this, he's feeling like everything is lack of control. So he also sees a lack of control from this. And so the emotional result is really he's really actually shocked. So now we're saying, okay, what is the emotional result? Looking, because maybe himself all this was going on right in his head, and he was repeating it every day. But now mapping the emotions, mapping the thoughts, and how everything links together, mapping the situation and a bit from a detached but empathetic sense, and seeing how this inaction and action happens, and seeing maybe how the coffee links to that, how the breakfast and how the feelings in the stomach and the mind and how that's playing in the work situation. He's actually becoming shocked and a little surprised and angry, but in a different way, that he didn't see this pattern before. And now he feels like kind of motivated and hopeful and take charge. So can you see the change in now? So now that we've had this emotional result, this person has gone in and he's just explained his situation, right? And we've delved bit deeper into this situation in terms of what he's eating, how long his journey is, when he's waking up, how he's snoozing. We've then gone into the some emotions, basic emotions that came up. Then we went to the thoughts, and we saw that thoughts were just not just related to his work, but now his family started coming in. Then more emotions start coming up, so we filled that in. Then we went to the physical reactions in the morning time. Then it took us to physical reactions at work, right? And actually started to build up into stress. So all the full picture started to come together. Then we saw maybe unconscious or conscious result that he started to go to watch motivational videos, right? But also maybe he was watching videos to distract himself. He was being avoidant at work and at home, and this was actually leading, and it started to become a circle. And so when we took this perspective, at the end, he was becoming a bit non-reactive, right? And more in a strategic mindset. So, going through all of this and letting all these emotions and thoughts out, we were able to see how this resulted in an external result. And then we were able to have another emotional reaction to the whole social context, right? The whole context. So, we're able to get a bird's eye view. And now we can see, hey, this is not very helpful in terms of waking up every day and repeating the same pattern. And actually, I don't need to live like this. So the actual end result is break pattern um, new um, patterns and systems and really a brain wiring, and now a freshness to personal development, maybe exercise, and finding out how to leverage the personality in terms of job crafting. Maybe he's FESI Dom, so now maybe why he's looking for a new job, or he's trying to go to where people grow and leverage his passion interests in outside clubs or hobby, let's say in the morning or evening. And now he can say to take breaks to think, um, and reflect and maybe journal. He's able to now develop a strategy to move past these patterns and move past these areas. So he's able to maybe go to his job, speak to his manager. He's able to now know what he's speaking to his manager about because he knows his strengths. He's able to do job crafting. So he's able to put himself in the genius zone in his work. Maybe while he's looking for another job, maybe he's upskilling in a different place. He's able to actually see that, hey, this is not serving him. So do a passion or interest outside clubs or hobby. Maybe it be a sport. Maybe it's something like, his FESI. So maybe it's a body language course or something. Maybe he's wanting to learn teaching or something, and he's now reflecting, he's journaling, he's making a strategy, right? So you can see a whole change in perspective. He's taking charge, it's less emotional, it's more rational and aligned. So we're starting in this emotional place. We're now working through a lot of thoughts, unpacking emotions, and now it might lead to now he's more rational and aligned. He's now able to map out conversations with family and work to establish boundaries, um, and vision and a way of being or navigating and charting own course. So now he's maybe able to have the confidence or maybe the rational perspective to understand his family's cultural context. And now he's actually able to say, I understand where you're coming from, but I need to leverage myself here and here and here so I can mentally be in a better place and have that dialogue with his family. And even if his family is not understanding him, he's able to now come from a rationalistic place because he's able to now reflect and meet his shadow or meet his emotions at the base level because he's able to now form new patterns or systems that serve him. So now he's maybe able to wake up in the morning because he knows he has a plan and he has a will to meaning. So if you've read Viktor Frankl, who is a Auschwitz concentration camp survivor and also I think he was a psychoanalyst or a psychologist, he talks about humans needing a will to meaning in his book Man's Search for Meaning. So now he's able to understand his personality much deeper. He's exercising, he's doing classes, he's building a social network. They're able to support him, like minded people, networking more, job crafting in a new job. Maybe he's able to find a new job closer to home. Um, you know, so he's really strategizing his life now, and this all resulted in maybe a 1 hour, or we did it right in shorter than 1 hour session. So that was Spacer. That's the power of Spacer in terms of a South Asian context. So I hope you find this useful. It's called spacer because social context, physical reaction, actions, that spells out spacer, emotions, etc. So yeah, that was Wisdom Exchange 10. If you find that useful, please let me know in the comments. That was a more practical example. This can be applied to any area of life, whether the emotions and the social context are being mixed up, whether it be like a relationship situation, a marriage situation, a career situation, any sort of situation. It's super useful. Um, but yeah, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll stop sharing my screen now so you can see my beautiful face. So, wish you a nice day, everybody. If you have any coaching questions or any interest regarding personality, drop it in the comments below. Reach out to me on Instagram. But other than that, I wish you a good day. Till next time. Bye bye.